This is to Chris Carney and to Chris Hackett. This is a message to both candidates for Congress in Pennsylvania, the 10th District, which includes Bradford County, Pennsylvania. When the Canadian dollar approached and exceeded the value of the U.S. dollar some time ago, this was heralded as a great thing. It was supposedly an indication that now the U.S. would be in a better position to sell our products. But the question was, did the Canadian dollar get more valuable, or was it the U.S. dollar just showing a lack of value? We know today that the cost of crude oil on the foreign market is a sign of what the dollar is really worth. Granted, traders have inflated the cost of this oil, but all things being equal, the dollar has plummeted in value. So much so that it might be that the reduction of our net worth of our investments, supposedly caused by the inaction on a bailout, might be less than the actual loss of buying power of our assets after the government intervention. If we bail out the stock market, we will be inflating our dollar, making the buying power of the remaining assets even less valuable. It might be better to take the hit on our stock values and not bail out the stock market with the knowledge that the dollar will be less inflated. Once again, prior to the creation of the Federal Reserve, the value of the dollar remained essentially stable. Upon the creation of the Federal Reserve, the value of the dollar has plummeted in real value at an ever-increasing rate with no end in sight. Yet only the people like Ron Paul have questioned this. We already did see some mini bailouts, and they have come back for more. Just look at the economic stimulus package, which did very little to help our economy. Most of that money went to buy Chinese products, junk we really didn't need. The only good news about the Bush administration is that it proved beyond a doubt that it does not matter who you elect for president from the major parties, as they are already bought and paid for. The fact that Ron Paul is still alive is amazing to me. You might want to watch YouTube.com, where Congressman Paul sounds off about the Federal Reserve, but the only problem is they turned off his sound. They turned off his amplifier. No one could hear what he had to say when he tried to talk about the evils of the Federal Reserve. This was not by chance, but an effort to keep the American people from waking up. Apparently, we are just cattle, allowed to breed and generate more cattle, to pay taxes, to pay doctors, to pay insurance, to keep the powerful powerful. Notice that in all the talk about health care, there's no mention about keeping healthy. That means buying less crap cereals, artificial colors, artificial sweeteners. In fact, is there anyone talking about using our cell phones less, or at least using a headset to reduce damage to our brains? Remember that eminent domain case in the Supreme Court? That was hot news, and George Bush and many others of note were going to change our laws to remedy this so it would never happen again. Who's talking about that now? Who's talking about that? McCain, Obama, the media? Are they asking him, what are you going to do about eminent domain? Where foreign interests can come in and say, hey, we like your house a lot. We're going to put something big there, so get out of here. Look, there are only three wealth builders in our economy: farming, mining, and manufacturing. That's it. Everything else lives off these things. All the insurance and all the nail parlor places and beauty salons and suntan places and restaurants, diners. Essentially, without these wealth builders, farming, mining, and manufacturing, you don't have anything. And yet, they're still trying to sell us on the bill of goods on a service economy mentality. It is BS. It always was BS. Does it register with you that when China pollutes, it is not a concern of the radical environmentalists? Why is it that only the U.S., why is it only when the U.S. pollutes that we are ruining the world? Not China, not India, only us. You think about that. And you think about who's funding these people who have done more economic damage to us than the Japanese and Germans during World War II. And that's why we're in this state today. That's why this economy is so fragile, because we don't do anything anymore. We don't make anything anymore. And it's not by just lack of direction. It's because this whole thing is being orchestrated. It is the ultimate novel. It's the ultimate Stephen King novel. So anyhow, the bottom line is that this bailout has been well orchestrated. It's a well orchestrated scheme to steal even more of the people's resources. If this was so very important, then pull the plug on all foreign aid. All of it today. Are not we more important than those outside our borders? Do you have to think about this question? We must vote out anyone who votes for this Wall Street bailout. So you hear us, Congressman Carney? Do you hear this? Aspirant Chris Hackett, Senator Casey, Senator Specter. Do you hear this? Do not bail out those sharks on Wall Street. Good night.